Good afternoon to our families, our invited guests, as well as those who are joining us virtually, all in celebration for the class of 2020. I am so proud as the founder of Mott Hall Bridges Academy to reach this day of my 8th graduating class. 10 years ago, I set out to open up a school, to close a prison, and how fitting for it to be in Brownsville, a community that has always been resilient, a community whose slogan is, never ran, never will. And as someone who is a firm believer that education is a weapon that we can use to liberate our children, to change the trajectory of where they go in their future, I stand here proud, able to say that our scholars are equipped with what they need to take over this world. These past 3 months of being in remote learning have been trying. They have been the most challenging because our children were without the support in a school building. But what I would like to say is that being a witness, seeing them in those Google classrooms, watching them show up every single day, participating, asking questions, pushing teachers' thinking, they are more than ready for the next chapter. While we would all want to be together in a space gathered to experience the joy and the happiness, I want you to know something, scholars. First and foremost, you are the legacy of amazing kings and queens. You are the legacy of individuals who have been oppressed for centuries. But most importantly, you are the legacy of a school who has believed in you, who has affirmed you to remind you that you indeed matter. So every single day, I want you to say when you wake up, I matter. Know that nothing, no one in this world could ever tell you what you can't do. You have all that you need. Those teachers for the past 3 years who have poured into you, who have fought with you, who have sat down and listened to you, have been a champion for you. They will still be there rooting for you from the sidelines. I want you to know that in this moment today, you are a part of history. Your survival has not been because of just merely being Black, but being educated, by being fearless, by being brave, and showing up. I want to ask every adult, from the parents first, to hear me in saying this. This has been your gift to us. Every one of your children has been a prized possession that we have boldly protected, have educated, and have pushed to know that they are great. I need you to keep going. Your children are not safe just because they have finished middle school. As a parent, I know how hard it is to watch the scenes of what is happening today in our world. As a principal, I know how hard it is to run a school when all is against you, when the belief that our children cannot succeed is a reality. As a leader, I know how hard it is to stand up against the very system that doesn't see our children as equal, that allows the inequities to make it easier for the school to prison pipeline. But I'm going to tell you this. I have stood with you. I have been there with you. And I'll need you to continue to hold those who come after me as leaders of your children accountable. Show up into those classrooms. Show up into those schools. Make sure that they see your child for their brilliance, not for any deficit. Make sure that they are educating your children, and listen to your child when they say that someone has said something to them that makes them feel less than, when someone makes them feel invisible, when someone does not honor who they are. Make sure you show up and advocate for your children. Because we are in a world that is saying that the very children that we have birthed into this place, into this society, may not be able to enjoy life, liberty, and be able to pursue happiness. It is our responsibility to protect them. And so that's where all of those who are in our tribe, in our community, come to play. We don't just show up for the fanfare. We don't just show up for the graduations. We don't just show up for the accolades. We show up every day. We show up by making a phone call. We show up by asking questions. We show up by being there to say to our children, you got to do better. We show up by mentoring. We show up by teaching them about financial literacy. We show up about being the example. This is our fight as a collective. We cannot take time to educate these young people, to tell them that they have a future, and not be there, as God has designed us to be their hedge of protection. I am going to ask that we be reminded that everything that we have gone through thus far, all the things that we see that has now forced us to stand together, to be reminded that we indeed are a great, outstanding people that often provide a threat to those who don't see how dynamic we are. We have to pour into each other because all we have is us. To my team, I want to say, Mrs. Karen Cadogan, who has been the principal in charge, she is a true leader. She has taken the vision. She has led these children. She has led these adults. And I give you honor and praise for all that you do. To the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the guidance counselor, social worker, secretary, custodial staff, school safety, everyone who has rallied. I want to thank you for being there for our children. My teachers have shown up along with those paraprofessionals and guidance counselors and social workers in every single class, every single day, providing live instruction. Every day, without fail. Because we understood that when you have children who are at a deficit, we understood when there are gaps, we understand when there are inequities, we understand when there is a pandemic. That is no excuse for us not to show up. So I'm going to say, the work doesn't stop. We have to continue. We have to be reminded. This is our charge. And so I leave you with these final words. Leadership doesn't lie in one person. What I have created was an institution that defied every odd. And we relied on no one. Because what we didn't do was ask permission to do what was right. To teach, to ignite, and to inspire our young people every single day. My staff, who I love, you are leaders. To my parents, you are leaders. To those who are watching, you are leaders. But to the class of 2020, you are our future judges, lawyers, writers, creators, motivators. You are the ones who will create the change. You are the ones that we are looking forward to taking over. I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to what you will do in the future. Everyone, please be safe. Love on yourselves. Be gentle. Take good quality care. Because as always, all we got